Wonders, excitement, magical, Heath Ledger. Mysteries, Matt Damon. Wonders, Monica Bellucci.
No.
Okay, Pedro, something wrong?
Robot heaven. No, 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 please. No, not child. No, no.
As you can see,
Oh,
audience, Pedro is suffering from a severe case of PTSD.
might that have to do with the writer of this film?
Yes, Aaron Kruger. He's mostly famous for writing. He co-wrote Transformers 2, Pedro's absolute favouriteest film ever, and he wrote Transformers. And he wrote Transformers 3 and 4, which is funny enough. Four's the one Pedro hates the least.
Oh, and he's the one that's gonna write the Dumbo live-action Disney.
Let's not forget, though, at least Aaron Kruger had Orky and Kurtzman to try and mellow his badness out. How about his solo projects? Like this one here.
I have no
All right,
freaking
folks, this is the Brothers
Why?
Grimm.
All right, we're going to start. It's 2005 and directed by Terry Gilliam. Yes,
Yeah,
Terry.
you probably have heard of him too. Plenty of people you've heard of. Basically, this was meant to be a picture starring the Brothers Grimm. This was actually made in February 2001 when Aaron Kruger sold his spec script to MGM Studios. Yeah, we have one of those scripts.
Oh, great, a script where we take a giant shit on two of the greatest storytellers of all time. Let's do so.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Basically, we're going to start at the Dimension Films logo.
All right.
So, folks, get ready in 3, 2, 1, click. And yes, it goes without saying, this film had a lot of troubled development history. You see, when Gilliam was hired as a director, the official script was written by Gilliam and Tony Grisoni. However, the Writers Guild of America refused to credit them for their work, thus Kruger received solo credit. MGM eventually dropped out as a distributor, but decided to co-finance the Brothers Grimm with Dimension
nice.
Films and Summit Entertainment. Well, Dimension took over distribution duties, and that's not even getting into when the Weinstein Company got involved.
Oh.
Of course, the
And
Weinstein.
I'm picturing Harvey Weinstein actually molesting Terry Gilliam.
No, just
Yeah, let's just move on. Because, don't worry, Dweebs, the movie will actually do the job for being very, very distasteful.
So, like many fairy tales, we start off with a family, poor. One of the kids is feeling sick and may be on the verge of death. Oh, considering how this is one of the old school stories, that's
the
so end happily ever after.
the kids saw the CGI for this film. He never recovered.
Yeah. Beans!
Magic beans.
Oh no, this
Yeah.
is the Order of the Phoenix video game. Where Ron gushes about beans every 5 seconds. So in this version, it's not the mother who beats Jacob, but it's
the little
brother.
sister. Oh,
Okay, since it's a Terry Gilliam project, obviously the interest to be probably the best thing about the movie.
Yeah. Terry Gilliam is at his heart an animator. The problem is that
Yeah.
he somehow thought that
15 years
that
later.
meant he could become a filmmaker. No, Terry, just stick with animating, please.
fun fact, actually, the little girl who's playing Little Sister Grimm there, that's Anna Rust.
Oh look, like for a full moment there, I could pretend I was
French
watching.
occupied Germany.
For a full second there, I was pretending I was watching a Holy Grail.
In case you're wondering, this is set in the 19th century, early 19th century. So basically in the period where Napoleon Bonaparte actually was conquering all of Europe.
He wanted to take over the world, pretty
Of
much.
course.
So this was back when France was the one occupying Germany instead of the other way around.
Glorious.
Don't worry, I'm
Let's
sure
just say
Germany will
that,
get France back.
Let's just say that also there are also Bloodborne costumes.
Oh, and
We
you know,
should
speaking of the
Bloodborne
Weinsteins and troubled productions, which they're infamous for, they during filming, the Weinsteins fired the cinematographer for this film after just 6 weeks of filming because fuck you, the Weinsteins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Ding.
That's right. In this version, the brothers Grimm actually started off as paranormal investigators.
Yeah. So this is turning into The Conjuring. Also, why is there an Italian flag there?
Because the Italians were helping out the French, Tio. Don't you know history?
Jova, more like we're getting conquered. Like, don't get me even started. The
Yeah.
Republic of Venice, after centuries of being indomitable and unconquered, got sold for a pack of beans to the Austrians.
What? Seriously?
Pretty much.
They beans?
Well, I'm metaphorical.
I have to wonder if they were magical beans like
No, I'm just
the
using
little
a
brother Grimm
metaphor.
got
Basically,
fooled into.
Napoleon sold the country like it was a cheap toy.
Yeah. Wow, that may actually put the Louisiana Purchase to shame. So, yeah, that's why Italy's helping out France here, I guess. Since France, I guess, owns them.
Remember also, Joe, back there, Italy was not a full country yet. It was still in its collection of micro-states, period.
So it wasn't shaped like a boot yet?
Well, it was just divided differently.
Fair point.
So we got Heath Ledger and Matt Damon.
Yep, Matt Damon.
I can tell that
Matt
they're at
Damon's
least
pretty
trying
good.
their best for the roles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's some of the best things in this
Again,
movie.
Heath Ledger, I do believe that for most of his roles, it was like John Candy. He tried the best it could.
Well, he was
And
great
hey,
in
guys,
Brokeback Mountain.
I
and hey,
also
guys,
loved
is-
in I forgot what his name, A Knight's Destiny. I think it's
Knight's
called.
Tale.
Fun
Nice
fact,
tale.
actually, this movie was supposed to get a sequel sometime after the filming of The Dark Knight.
Yeah, we know the
well,
story.
yeah. So the reason we don't have a sequel isn't because of the reception of this movie, but because poor Heath Ledger is no
The
more.
movie itself did average 88 million budget, 105 and
That's
a half
still,
almost.
that still wouldn't
as
be.
grossing.
I still don't see that as a good enough excuse, though. I mean, there's plenty of actors who could play Heath Ledger's role. Honestly,
Also, that's a pentacle.
I guess they didn't want
I mean,
to...
how? When one of Terry Gilliam's next films, they got around, that Heath Ledger was also in. They got around him not being around by replacing him with a different actor every time he went into that weird dimension thing.
Maybe this was still around the time period where everyone was afraid of doing the same mistake that Blues Brothers 2000 did. Yes, this town is under the attack of a witch.
Sure.
I think they mentioned it's... Let me see. Yeah. I forget if they actually mentioned the witch's nationality. It's either Italian, Bulgarian, or Russian.
Let me check.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the sequel to The Wind Rises.
Jesus.
I don't know. That's the animation here seems a bit devoid of color.
Yeah, there's a lot of brown.
Well, haven't there been like one or two Ghibli films where the colours were muted?
Well, yeah, Grave of the Fireflies. I guess Tales of the Earthsea.
Oh crud, the witch is an airbender.
Also, this is totally not the Ghostbusters scene with the librarian, swear on me, mom. Of course, the crossbow had to bust at the crucial moment. Which she doesn't have eyes.
Movie, you could, I don't know, establish these characters before putting them in a life and death situation.
Actually, I think this is a very establishing
To be
character
fair, this is their
moment.
establishment, and we'll see why. That doesn't exactly help it, but you'll see.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Ah, don't flash me. You're drowning.
Was she from Neverland? She died like a native would there. Oh, of course. All she was behind is a bunch
Snakes.
of...
Why did they
Yeah.
have to be snakes?
Escape.
Escape.
Yeah, the snakes.
Yeah, that's what you just mentioned. Like,
Oh, okay then.
And use plenty of rosemary. It helps.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks, bye. All in for the money.
Just remember to follow the rules to the letter.
And what letter would that be?
The instructions they just gave.
I was thinking more the letter B, if I'm honest.
Ugh.
Ah, get it? Jacob used to be a scholar.
Of course. Ah.
Really?
But get it, it was a puppet. Ha 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 ha. Also, that was
Remember,
Monty Python.
remember, Dwebs. It's an Aaron Kruger script. Don't expect charm.
Was this like one of Aaron Kruger's first films or something?
Mm.
Oh,
I'll check.
No, you
Also,
silly. You
who's this
remove
guy? I think
remove
I
the
saw him
makeup. You're
before.
ruining the immersion of the movie. You just told me that the character is
Maybe
an
that
actor.
was actually an outtake.
Oh, he wrote some stuff, and he wrote a couple of lesser-known films. Scream 3.
Yeah, Scream 3 and 4. I like 3, 4.
Yeah.
And he wrote the first and He wrote 3 of the Ring films.
Huh.
Yeah, surprisingly, I did like the first American Ring film. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call Aaron Kruger an all bad writer. It's just he's had a trend that really just confuses me.
So yeah, of course, the Brothers Grimm are basically the equivalent of basically the second act of Dragonheart, where the guy goes around and tricks people into the legends and only to get money.
Mhm.
Oh, and he co-wrote Ghost in the Shell.
The live action.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, hey, on the bright side, along with Alien vs. Predator and Van Helsing, the Brothers Grimm movie did provide work for hundreds of local jobs and contributed over $300 million into the Czech Republic's economy. So,
Yeah.
there's that.
I guess.
Thanks, America.
Yeah, basically, this movie is shot entirely in the Czech Republic.
Well, it makes sense, that kind of setting.
Save money, yeah.
Not
And
just that,
yeah.
and it's the closest you can get to the jar. Also, get it? She has a red hood.
Mhm.
Meanwhile,
This is
in the
Red Riding
forest of
Hood.
Marbodem,
That's a place in Germany it lives.
well, I got
She
that
brings
right.
me happiness.
Well,
Little
it
Red Riding
could have been worse. It could have been
Hood.
like every Hollywood movie that said Marbodem, Germany. In case you were confused with Marbodem, Greece.
And then she finds a bird which she heals using jelly.
No, Pedro, you're not doing that.
I don't know. That movie was better than this one.
Well, obviously.
And that was a Good Times film. I mean, you know, it was a legit Good Times film.
Mm-hmm.
Better than I remembered it, too.
Same.
So, of
Don't
course, there's a wolf howling through the
get used to
forest.
it though.
Also, thankfully, people, the wolf here is not played by Johnny Depp.
Well, Tim Burton's not here, so
It's funny because Johnny Depp was originally asked to be in this movie.
No, apparently
Really?
you don't know.
He wanted to be in this?
Into the Wolf,
No, he
Johnny
was,
Depp actually plays the big bad wolf.
Dwebs, this is the guy who said yes to the Lone Ranger. Are you surprised?
See, here's the.
Oh,
I mean,
that is my direct.
yeah. I think he had to turn down this role, though. I think he did. Yeah, he was asked to be in it, but he did not accept it.
No.
Also, it's probably a good time to mention that Terry Gilliam had a lot of arguments with the Weinstein brothers during
Oh,
filming of this
surprise.
movie.
Who didn't?
Yeah. Now, as for the production designer of this film, because this film does have decent production design, the production designer for this is actually Guy Hendricks Dias.
Is it
From
comic book
X2.
writer or something? Oh, he's from X-Men 2.
Basically, Gilliam hired him because he was impressed with Dice's work on X2.
Yep.
So,
Since
at
we're
a
in
usual
Germany, might as
brothel
well have
time.
a tavern, local tavern where to get plastered on beer.
But you know what I love? Films that whenever we go to a European company that doesn't speak English, they have British accents.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, even in a film about Hitler's origin, all the Germans have British accents.
Why do you think I like Downfall so much?
Because it's all spoken in German?
Well, yeah.
Are you sure the actors were not really drunk?
Maybe they were.
They're all drunk, and Gilliam decided to just film the after
Get
film
it?
part.
One of the brothers Grimm actually got a story.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, actually, not all the Brothers Grimm stories were originally written by the Brothers Grimm. Some were actually stories that they themselves renovated for modern times.
they basically collected a lot of folklore tradition and officialized it.
Uh-huh.
Some of the most hardcore stuff, in fact, actually come from the Slavic folklore, which is heavy on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
The
Think
French.
Not just that. The French military people in this movie are, what can I say, boring people.
Yes.
Boringly and annoyingly people.
See, this was back when France were the serious ones and Germans were the not
Not
so
just that,
serious
like,
ones.
the French here in this movie have practically a passion of making everything serious and removing all traces of fun and mystery and occults.
Yeah, because they were run by a very serious man who totally wasn't compensating for something.
Yeah. Not just that, just wait until we see the general of the French with statue.
Yes. Again, kind of ironic considering the role reversal between France and Germany with who was serious and who wasn't during
Also, as
the
soon as
World
people
Wars.
actually, that's kind of a reverse reference to Casablanca. Like soldiers of the occupying force enter in a basically a bar, in a tavern, and the band is forced to actually play the national anthem of the occupier.
Mhm. So Will, of course, is the older brother.
And instead, he has more down to earth thinking.
Oh, look, a
Also,
monkey! In fact, that looks like the same
Monkey.
monkey from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah,
the
he's
fairest
still
of
on
them
his
all.
case about. He's still on his
Seriously?
case about him buying magical beans instead of getting the money for a doctor.
Oh boy.
That guy would have been played by Robin Williams, but more on that later.
What is he wearing? Again,
That
probably
was
that was
like-
how Heath Ledger was sleeping. Jesus.
Nobody ever docks.
Yeah, it's this guy, Peter
Ah.
Stormare, playing Mercurio Cavalli.
Yeah, he's the bad guy's Italian associate.
You can tell that he's Italian because his beard type.
And believe it or not, Ryan Williams was originally cast in this role, but he dropped out.
Basically, he's acting like a second in command, sort of the French local station people, and he's doing whatever he wants because of it.
Yeah, he
Ow.
doesn't like the Brothers Grimm, to say the least.
Oh, fuck.
Comedy.
Don't you love it? Don't you just love Aaron Kruger comedy?
I love it when it's actually fun, Lee. This is not one of those cases.
Not at all. Yeah, sure.
Remind me, are we gonna get to remind me? Are we gonna see? Actually, no, that's more like Michael Bay than him. So. Please, please step away from my personal space, please. Thank you.
There he
no,
is.
Jonathan Price.
Yeah, Jonathan
Oh.
Price. You
Jonathan,
work with
what
the
are you
Coen
doing
brothers.
here?
What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
let's just-
I don't know, Tail. Let's not forget that the Coen brothers made No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, okay, but it was like one bad case over the entire career.
True.
Like, I get it, but still, they still had a pretty strong resume for the most part. Still
Yeah.
better than Eric fucking Kruger.
Sure.
Yes.
And
this is
also,
tough.
my guess is that since he was in Pirates of the Caribbean, like casting for another queer Q role in a movie similar to that.
He was better in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Definitely.
Yeah, including all 10 minutes he was in the third film.
Well, that's what we call a cameo.
That's the
Dredge.
film that we usually don't talk about, Dwebs.
Also, what the hell is he
Excuse me,
eating?
I still talk about it. I mean, it's not the best film, but it's not one that, I feel I can't speak of with dignity, unlike...
Also, well, yeah, in case you're wondering again, Jonathan Price is playing the general of the French army, which is his reasoning is that everything is most unorthodox unless it's occupied by France.
Oh, but let's not stop there, Tia. We're about to get a bit of Italian trivia.
Really?
Slugs.
Well,
Really?
believe it or not, this is, from what I've heard from Tio, actually historically accurate.
Well, to be
Because-
fair, again, Joe, we were, remember, because of the Inquisition and everything, we were kind of crafty with tortures.
Yep, and let's just say this guy's got quite a special little number planned for these guys.
That means kids.
Open the cauldron.
Oh, yes, being stewed alive.
Along with slugs.
Also, Temple of Doom match. We didn't do nothing. Bummer.
I said stop, damn it. I ordered you to stop.
What a dick. Thank you. Now the scene can actually resume.
Alright, can we get back to the movie now?
Why isn't he punishing that guy for disobeying his orders?
Because he hates the Grimms too.
Yeah, basically that's the gist of it. The general just wants the Grimm to work for him for this task and will be free to go. Otherwise, tortured. Yeah, and then killed.
Yeah. General Vavarin Delatom. Oh, hey, Hans von Gretel.
Yeah, seriously. Like the way again, this is I can understand the camera winking for this because that's the tales that the Grimm eventually will write upon. But I don't know.
The main issue is it kind of zooms through it for the girls. Basically, the plot is a bunch of girls from a village are getting kidnapped. And, as we've seen, some of those girls, reflect on certain fairy tales. And I guess the thing is there's kind of some twist put on them to adhere to the story. I guess part of the issue is for the stuff that this is actually referencing, it kind of gets zoomed by.
Yeah, I think it's on the same as, again, like I mentioned, Into the Wolves. It tries to be, he thinks it's clever, when in reality is way too much camera winking.
Yeah, I'll give Into the Woods credit. At the very least, that was strictly on the fairy tales, whereas this one is most kind of about the fairy tales, but also kind of sort of not. And I get it, it's based off of the Brothers Grimm, the writers of the fairy tales. Although I will say this kind of falls into that trap of not being as whimsical as it could be because it wants to be taken so gosh dang serious.
Yeah. And when it tries to get comedy, it's very miss.
But Joe, the Brothers Grimm is serious business.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it can be, but you know what? Do it right. There's actually a TV show called Grimm, which is actually pretty dark, but still has its clever bouts of humor.
Not just that, there are actual comedic stories between the Grimm fairy tales, like the one about, I forgot what it's called in English, but basically, it's, Jesus. Basically, it's this tiny boy, similar to Fun Vanilla, this story about a tiny boy trying to get back his mother, and amongst other things, he escapes through a cow's part. So,
Wow. And you know,
what
heck, I mean,
the fuck did I just watch?
You just saw a girl being cornered by a
Why is
big
it-
man
Why
in
is
a
this movie
Weinstein
so?
film.
Why is this movie so disgusting?
What time
That's
is
not
old? God,
I'm-
not
I'm-
even one quarter.
Seriously, the more this goes on, the more I fear I'm gonna be arrested for the kind of stuff that's in this film.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of have to agree for this. It's
Yeah.
Well,
a bit
I
more
guess,
than-
I guess it's not like in Fair
probably-
F, where we're afraid of being arrested
it
as
probably
pedophiles. I
wasn't.
guess.
It probably wasn't that you know, that acceptable even back then, but it certainly didn't age better.
I mean, like, this movie kind of had a cult following back in the day, but I think even the cult following
It
kind of got
did.
sick of this
And then
movie.
it died out.
Yeah, basically, the best way to describe this movie is like, well, on the surface, it looks fun, and you can tell they're trying to be Monty Python-esque in certain cases. The problem
Yeah.
is that the serious moments drag it down. And, you know, I have nothing against something being gray and serious. Like, you know, that's how the first seasons of Supernatural, an incredibly dark series, was. But, you know, I mean, sure, it's incredibly gory and whatnot still, but it remembers to still have a sense of humor and wit because,
And
you know...
then it got cancelled.
Wait, Supernatural got canceled?
Oh no, I'm confusing with Firefly. Sorry, Jova.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Poor Firefly. That show just got assassinated out of the blue.
Yeah, I didn't really like that show anyway. Yeah.
Basically, this town is very paranoid of losing their kids.
Jesus, I always said I was in like Firefly. Point a gun at me.
Oh,
okay,
this-
having an opinion in the current year. Come on.
Okay, there actually is a good joke coming up, admittedly.
Roll credits.
I'll deal with this as soon as I get over there.
Totally not foreshadowing. She's just a crazy old hag.
Yeah, goodbye.
I've got my sick bag ready for the CGI coming up.
Oh yeah, right. Also, that's
That's great.
Jova said that's British as fuck. That kid was super British.
Daughter.
Oops.
Okay, that's actually funny. Basically, the town is disguising their daughters as sons because, well, basically, whoever's kidnapping kids has been going after just girls.
I guess.
Interesting strategy. Fine, he actually does look like a boy, so...
Oh, that one's actually a boy, Hans.
Yeah. You're mixing things up, mate.
Well, yeah, actually, there was a crow that stole their crumbs.
Yeah, just like in Estimator, but he said about also the gingerbread house before that.
Oh, yeah, it's because they heard that there was a gingerbread house out there.
Totally.
Little Red Riding. Huh. Believe it or not, this movie actually explains its enchanted forest better than Quest for Camelot.
That's
Sad.
something.
Wow. I guess that's what Quest for Camelot needed. Aaron Kruger to come up with an explanation for the forest.
Don't do this to Jesus. Come on. That's not very polite, Hit. Come on. We live in a society, you see. Why the clearly inspired American music? Oh.
Yeah, we kind of have no idea what we're doing.
No.
Eh?
Oh,
Please
gee.
help us. So what are they trying to do? Purge the lands of these...
Basically, they are tasked to try and find out what's going on with the kidnapped girls.
And
but they need
possibly
a
rescuing
guide.
them.
Now, back to the development of this film. Johnny Depp
Yeah,
was
go ahead.
Gilliam's first choice for William Grimm, but producer Bob Weinstein, yes, that Bob, well, okay, not that Weinstein, but the brother,
The other Weinstein.
basically, he believed Depp was not commercially famous enough for the role. Yeah. Damon, get this, Damon joked that Weinstein was kicking himself because halfway through production, Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and Depp was all of a sudden a big sensation. Like, dang.
The
Fun fact,
Weinsteins
actually.
are the dumbest producers who've ever lived.
Oh,
What a
you know what's fun?
surprise.
You know what's funny? They had doubts about Heath Ledger becoming a big name as well. And yet, what did Heath Ledger go on to later do? Oh, he just became the villain of one of the most highly recognized superhero
Also,
films of all time.
that's some rabbit.
Yeah. She's a butcher.
We're going full cannibal holocaust here.
Don't worry, it's just PG-13, so they won't be
Watch.
too graphic.
But it's an animal, so I guess it's fine.
True.
Probably not. Poor rabbit.
Welcome to, according to what my subtitle said, The Brothers Scream.
Ow! I can do that.
Every time someone says Brothers Scream, they just scream.
Yeah, like in Young Frankenstein.
I haven't seen that.
Oh,
So
you should.
basically, the reason this girl is considered cursed is because, let's just say her family's had a troubled history, and the first thing
Because
is
she's
that...
a strong, independent woman.
No, because two of the girls who were kidnapped were her sisters. And a little something else that happened. But we don't find out about that yet.
Torture, right?
Leaves. Yay!
Yeah, we'll come back with your children, and they'll be safe.
Totally, swear
Hopefully.
me, mama. Jesus.
Well, seriously, what's with this crazy lady?
She's supposed to be the quote-unquote witch who the town believes is a witch, but turns out to not be a witch, and she's totally not foreshadowing. She's just
Or
crazy.
like
we
witch in
swear.
a sense of old
Yeah.
hag.
Exactly.
And hang on, how far are we into this film?
Not even half an hour.
And where's Monica Bellucci?
That's the question I'm asking, Weebs.
Was Monica Bellucci that big a star that she needed top billing?
I have no idea, Joe.
It's
but
like
she probably had a bad agent.
it's like Stephen Dorff on when he was one of the named actors on the poster of Blade. Like, did he do a really big film before then?
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't recall. But poor Stephen Dorff's problem is like, well, his career is like a roller coaster. Like he seems like he's going to be consistently good, and then he gets a bad film. Actually, I wonder, did Alone in the Dark kill it finally?
Probably.
We work with other tools, of course.
Totally.
Even though they're actors, they actually do have some legit things like this.
Oh, a tuning fork. What does that even do? Like echolocation? Okay Okay, then, moving
Apparently
on.
that thing is meant to try and sense if like there's anything in the
Oh
vicinity.
boy, this. You know what this is, I think, honestly? It's like
What?
a Scooby-Doo plot, just without the quirkiness, the real quirkiness.
Yeah, you know, like a movie that starts out quirky,
Like
but then gets
it's like Zombie Island, just without the fun parts.
Yeah, here's
And
the thing, you know.
surprisingly creepy parts for Scooby-Doo
Well,
standards.
that's the thing, Pedro. That was exactly the analogy that I was going for. Zombie Island is a story where you think it's a traditional Scooby-Doo formula, but when you put a twist, and the things are real and dark. So
Yeah.
that's what
And
I guess the movie tries to go for.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing with the earlier Scooby-Doo movies. Zombie Island and The Witch's Ghost, a bit of the aliens invade.
And then there was the cyber chase, but yeah.
The monster technically was real in that one, too.
Also, yeah, that's Rapunzel's tower, but yeah. Well, just be used in a different way.
Yeah,
Rapunzel, let down
don't
your
write
hair.
I will admit, some of the things they do with the fairy tales in this movie are actually rather clever and creative. I just wish the rest of the movie could have been as clever and creative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like Tio said. If this movie just had a better sense of fun, it would maybe be able to save itself from the points of trying to be so complicated and so edgy that it kind of sinks itself.
Hmm.
And I guess to this movie's credit, it doesn't throw in our face she's the strong, independent female character. She's just a legit strong character.
To be fair, but these were still the early 2000s, so it wasn't still that in your face, I guess. It was it was more subdued, but it wasn't like in. I think honestly, the pioneer of that, definitive way was Mulan in that regard.
But that's the thing. Mulan was based off of a historical character, so it. Makes sense,
but whatever. The point being, like a movie done, I think 7 years before this one.
Mulan was good, though.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, and it had actual entertaining parts.
I will admit, surprisingly, this tower looks a bit like the tower that Disney will make later on. Go figure. Oh yeah, flashback. Yep, so beautiful that she had a choir accompany her.
Yeah,
there
she's
she
clearly
is, Monica
enjoying that.
Bellucci.
And blast the costumes for these.
What is that thing on her head?
Probably something from the set of Star Wars Episode 1.
Basically, what happened is the bubonic plague came to town.
In order to avoid a contagious to her, they built a tower that would have been inaccessible.
Of course, she grew her hair out pretty long. That's right. In addition to being an evil queen, she's also Rapunzel.
And she died from the plague.
Sure.
Kinda.
Well, apparently what the story says. Also, hi Joel, what are you doing here?
He plays our female protagonist's father, who's now dead.
Yeah, that was a lot of bullshit.
Basically, the woman here is Angelica, spelled with a K because she's German.
Sure.
And she's played by Lena Headey.
Oh.
Something seems a bit off.
There's a weeping angel there. They probably should not blink.
Yeah.
He's like, well, it must be a pretty shitty weeping angel. He's not even looking at it, and it's not doing anything.
And
It's really old.
he's rots. There's a lot of moss and clearly rotting away, so he's probably starving to death. So
Yeah.
I learned my Doctor Who.
Oh, look at that. There's a mysterious woodsman here.
I wonder. Oh, jeez. Oh, God, I know where this goes, and it's not pretty, folks.
Oh, look at that. She's humming the same lullaby that woodsman is humming. Interesting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Disgusting. This is a Peter Jackson movie now.
Remember, a lot of bugs were involved with the bubonic plague. Oh, look, a ring.
The One Ring? Jesus.
I wish I was watching Lord of the Rings.
Me too. Thanks, movie. I really needed this.
Ravens are dicks.
Ding.
Especially to Italians, I guess.
Maybe that Weeping Angel's just off duty?
Probably.
It was taking a hot break.
Oh god, this shot is terrible because of the CGI.
Yeah, Terry Gilliam is a good animator, but his taste for CGI is.
To be fair, but CGI wasn't all his idea, believe it or not. That was actually the Weinstein's idea.
Do you have anything to back that up?
The Wikipedia page, let's see. Here we are. Oh god, yeah, remember how I mentioned how Gilliam had quite a lot of fallings out with the Weinsteins during production?
Well, more than one, apparently.
Basically, there were tensions between the filmmaker and producers during production. Basically, Gilliam said in retrospect about the film, it's not the film they wanted, and it's not the film I wanted. It's the film that is a result of two groups of people who weren't working well together. Basically, this is in regard to also how the cinematographer was fired, and they kind of had to replace it with a different cinematographer. The cinematographer kind of called a bit of the shots. Now, the majority of filming required sound stages and backlots from the Barandov Studios in Prague. Filming at Barandov ended on the 23rd of October. So, what happened here? Basically, the Weinsteins kind of called the shots with the effects here. Gilliam did want some CGI since it was kind of revolutionary, but he didn't want CGI to this level. As we've seen in Pirates of the Caribbean, he can do CGI way better. Davy Jones, anyone?
I guess.
This was the first film he directed since Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, I wish I was watching that
in
instead.
1998.
What is that horse doing?
That horse is
Santa
actually pretty
Macarena?
erratic.
Hey, Macarena.
What was that slow-mo?
That was, I honestly don't know what that was.
Ugh.
I missed that bit.
Don't worry, Liz, you have not missed anything.
So yeah, as I said earlier, Aaron Kruger sold this script as a spec script in February 2001. In October 2002, Terry Gilliam entered negotiations to direct, and thus he rewrote Kruger's script alongside frequent collaborator Tony Grisani, but the Writers Guild of America refused to credit them. So basically, Kruger received all the credit for the writing here.
Well, the writing of this film's terrible, so...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, here's the thing. After Gilliam's hiring, production was put on the fast track for a target November 2004 theatrical release, which meant that MGM had trouble financing the film, and thus they had to drop out as the main distributor. And that's when the Weinstein Company got brought on board, and in typical Weinstein fashion, they screwed up stuff. Because they were, A, not that confident in the project, and B, massive dickheads about it. Seriously, again, I get maybe having some doubts, but let Gilliam do some of his job here, people. Again, they didn't let Depp on because they thought he wouldn't be a big-name actor, and they nearly got rid of Ledger because they also thought he wouldn't amount to anything either. That's a smart company, ain't it, Pedro?
Totally.
Speaking of a smart company...
Also, that's a toy wolf. How does that even work there?
Mm-hmm.
That was uncalled for.
Yeah. So, the cinematographer, Nicola Pecorini, was replaced by Newton Thomas Sigel.
He's Bryan Singer's go-to cinematographer.
Quite a bit of X-Men people involved in this movie.
Where were they when X-Men the last time was being made?
We could, I don't know, be commentating on some actual adaptations of the actual Brothers Grimm tales over this. Seriously, the whole...
Oh, Maleficent for another time, Pedro?
Oh, yes. Hey, you know what's funny?
Why can't we do X-Men 2?
Maleficent is shorter, I take that. Oh boy, we're about to get to the raunchiest part.
I guess
of
it's
the movie,
well.
I think
Look at this, an apple.
totally.
Again, this movie just keeps reminding me
That's
of
what
much better
Italians
stories
do.
I could be
They teach
watching.
people.
So,
Like-
Gribbs, question.
Yeah,
What does roughshod mean?
I have no idea.
Because Gilliam had quite a few things to say, basically. Gilliam commented on the film, I'm
It
used to
means
writing...
thanks for the meal. It's like the itadakimasu for Japanese people.
Basically, he said, I'm used to writing roughshod over studio executives, but the Weinsteins wrote roughshod over me. Gilliam got so upset filming was shut down for nearly 2 weeks. Matt Damon even reflected on the situation. I've never been in a situation like that. Terry was spitting rage at the system, at the Weinsteins. You can't try and impose big compromises on a visionary director like him. If you try to force him to do what you want creatively, he'll go nuclear. The feud between Gilliam and the Weinsteins was eventually settled, although Bob Weinstein blamed the entire situation on yellow journalism.
Why are you walking around at night?
She got attracted by a voice that said "help me."
Oh no,
boy.
I think
Yeah,
I can
we're about. Yeah, Weebs Pedro probably had the right idea. So if you wanna join him, go ahead.
Well, I could always just turn my TV off.
Okay, that's
So close your eyes.
Yeah.
That's a horse, not a wolf.
What big ears you have. Horses do not have lovely mouths, girl. Just gonna say this. Have you seen a horse's mouth?
What the?
God forbid it be this horse's mouth.
Why the spider? Oh yeah, those
Because the spiders basically zombified the horse and took control of him. That's
Yeah.
why the janky movement from before.
That's why we have here, folks, a zombie horse. Okay, if the idea was to scare the crap out of your audience, well done. Mission
What was
accomplished.
the rating from this movie again? Let me check.
PG-13.
Oh,
That's
totally.
12. There's 12 around here. Or would that be in
God.
your country, Tio?
Probably. We don't have really a major rating for movies. The big things, but the two big things we have is is
Ugh.
4+ and 18+. Death Stranding, anyone?
That was quite a close-up.
Yeah. Jova?
Just-
Yes, Dibs?
I can pin a lot of the blame of this film being crap on the Weinsteins. Believe me, surely. I can, considering their track record.
Yeah, you
But,
can. Even Gilliam said that he wasn't too fond of scenes like that.
Yeah, but Gilliam directed them like this, remember?
Well, here's the actually, Dibs, remember what I mentioned, though. It's like, well, even Damon himself said that the Weinsteins were calling a lot of the shots and forcing compromises onto the director. This is what we call executive meddling.
Also,
Yeah,
these.
they were infamous for that.
And I'm more privy to blame the Weinsteins because, let's be quite honest, have we ever seen any other Terry Gilliam film go this far with the grimdark CGI?
Dr. Parnassus.
Eh?
Yeah, I
What's
think
that?
It's one film. It's a film we did after this.
And was that, this freaky?
A little.
More like it went a bit too far with the CGI.
And there were no Weinsteins there, so
Well, by too far with the CGI, do you mean like, grossifying like that?
just not very good.
Well, my point being is like, well, that wasn't just not good CGI. That was terrifying CGI. Like, again.
Also, moving trees.
Yeah. Point is, Terry Gilliam should not do CGI.
Hey.
Yeah.
Even when he's not being hampered by the Weinsteins, he's still.
Also, there's the big bad wolf. All
Hey,
time.
I disagree, Dribs. Again, he's done good with CGI before, like in the Pirates of the Caribbean films. Now, I'm not saying that
He
means
had
he's
nothing-
infallible.
Gilliam had nothing to do with those.
Well, he was involved in them, wasn't he?
No.
Oh, I know
No, I
this
don't
section.
know
You just
about
need to wait for the slow-mo and do the QTE. Seriously, that's literally what happens in Tomb Raider 2013.
Yeah, I've got my Switch. I can play. I could play the, I could get the controller and interact with the film.
Sorry, dudes, there's no yet Switch version of the 2013 reboot.
Well, mine, Tomb Raider on Nintendo's been very,
Well,
rare.
there could always be a start.
Yeah.
It's rare.
Oh god,
I mean,
that was terrible. That's
I mean,
terrible. Yeah.
I mean, the most Tomb Raiders gotten on Nintendo are like Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance game.
I'm
and
sorry.
Tomb Raider Legend, I believe.
That scene with the horse falling and everything, that was some bad shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, okay, dudes. Every franchise has got to start somewhere. I mean, hey, how do you think people felt when Crash Bandicoot first came to Nintendo? But look at him now.
Well, Crash was more consistent with being on Nintendo for the
Oh
most.
god.
Well, that's the thing.
Why?
They got to start somewhere. So, of course, with the Switch eventually.
Why is this movie so distasteful?
Yeah, you know what's a problem is like, well, before this scene, the movie had some bouts of gross out, but at the very least, the movie could be considered decent. But now,
Again, the stories of Brothers Grimm were grimdark. I get it, but can you just stick to that grimdark instead of putting your own spin to it?
yeah, that's a thing. There was never really felt of a zombie horse before in the
Controlled by
Brothers Grimm.
spiders. What is this? Doctor, I forgot his name. The villain of Lost in Space.
Dr. Smith?
Dr. Smith's personal fan fiction. I don't know.
Maybe.
Don't go DeviantArt, please. Yeah, thank you.
Again, the wolf seemed to have a connection with Angelica there for a bit.
Seriously, what's wrong
Oh, by the way,
with
this
these
film.
effects?
Oh, by the way, Terry Gilliam intended this film for children.
Totally.
Yeah.
Great
Okay.
judge of what children would not run out of the theater
Get it.
screaming
The
about.
Italian character is a toupee. He's bald.
Okay.
There's thinking that kids can handle anything like Don Bluth and Hino, and there's this. No, this is just inappropriate.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna then place blame on the more Grimstark stuff on the Weinsteins. I mean, granted, I have no idea. I'm just saying this though. I'm more inclined to believe that the Weinsteins are responsible for the more grimdark stuff if he originally intended this for kids. Because you know what's weird? The first 30 minutes of the film seemed like it could be fine enough for kids who can handle stuff. But starting with the zombie horse thing, this is when we get into Grimstark stuff. It's like a completely different team all of a sudden invaded on the set.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find out some more about this.
Oh, apparently, there's a scene in this film set in a torture chamber, and Matt Damon was actually strung up by his waist. He could only stay on there for like a minute and a half because the rope was crushing his ribs and cutting off his air supply. Gilliam apparently did make a prosthetic for him, but guess who ixnayed him wearing it?
The Weinsteins.
Yeah. The Weinsteins are such bastards they nearly kill one of their actors.
Holy cow!
Why am I not surprised?
How they managed to get away with these kind of things for so long? It's amazing.
It's becoming eerie how much the Weinsteins have a lot of similar problems as the Walker brothers did during the filming of To Boldly Flees. And so it's also about where someone nearly died because they had to be strung upside down for a scene. But yeah, again, I mean, until I find something more legit, I guess we can't say for sure. But so far, I'm inclined to believe that the Weinsteins are more.
Yeah, that's definitely a Terry Gilliam scenario. Okay.
Yeah.
Mine. Apparently, Gilliam isn't exactly. Isn't exactly.
You just said where's the general?
No, I was just gonna say. Well, apparently, it's according to TV tropes. Gilliam's not exactly a blameless victim in this film. Apparently,
Yeah.
you know when Lena Headey was cast, Gilliam was so upset that.
Oh yeah, because he originally wanted Samantha
Morton.
Who's
And she's off Fantastic Beasts.
Ah.
They didn't go with Samantha Morton because the Weinstein said she was apparently too fat. Gilliam decided to be a bigger man and apparently bully her on the set.
Oh goodies.
You know, I think Jonathan Price is realizing what kind of movie he's in.
Yeah,
right now.
and I know you're being bossed around by the Weinsteins, but that's no excuse to treat your actors like shit.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that Gilliam is blameless in any of this because, like you said, some of his trademarks do definitely show up in other movies. But I will say this, though, I do genuinely think he did want to make a movie that could at the very least be family-friendly as a PG-13 movie could be. Because, again, scenes like the zombie
there you go,
scene
that's the
completely clash
torture,
with
I
scenes
think.
like this. Now, see, a scene like this is definitely dark, but they don't actually, have the gore in it, per se.
Oh, apparently you're supposed to play the evil queen,
Who?
Uma Thurman.
There you go.
What?
That's the torture where Matt Damon was hanged.
What is it with a lot of these actors kind of being second choices? Like, you got Matt Damon, who was originally supposed to be Johnny Depp. Heath Ledger, who, I forget if Heath Ledger was even the first pick. But, hey, we've also got Monica Bellucci, supposed to have been Uma Thurman. The guy playing the Italian here, supposed to be Robin Williams. And now Lena Headey, supposed to be Samantha Morton.
Yeah.
I mean,
Of
granted,
course,
maybe
they think it's a super weapon. This is turning into a comic book plot now.
to be
Super
fair,
weapon.
Napoleon Bonaparte was kind of into that mystical stuff, especially when he invaded Egypt.
I think Hitler was more into that.
I think Napoleon did have some mystical giving.
If anything, Java is giving the other vibe, the fact that Napoleon wanted to destroy because again, the whole fantastic racist trope about destroying everything that's called. It's the same problem that I had with at the beginning of Maleficent. This racism that just mankind wants to be the dominant vision. Yeah, bummer news. Yeah, we already did this. The obvious joke is obvious, Joe. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
See, now, okay.
That's a meat grinder.
Yep. Oh, look, a cat.
That's a cute kitty.
You can tell that a guy who helped out with Monty
I'm in a
Python.
Kegs movie. I needed that.
Brilliant.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Bon appetit.
Why? Why you do this to me, Terry? Why? I will. I
guess
I'm a
Pedro,
big-
there's a kind of a rule of thumb that any member of Monty Python who's working on his own, I guess it's destined to fail.
No,
Yeah,
no. Teo, excuse me. John Cleese has done plenty of great work without the other Pythons.
I think that's the best way to describe this film. This is a film where if Monty Python and the Holy Grail tried to be dead, dark, serious. I mean, yeah, Monty Python and the Holy Grail does have gore as well, but that's gore that's mainly just comedic. And, a scene
It's
like
so
this
over the
is
top,
definitely-
cartoonish anyway. It's impossible to even come close to being disturbing anyway.
Yeah. That's kind of what it feels like this scene is trying to be, like a scene from a Monty Python thing. Again, the incredibly uber dark stuff that actually does happen, though, clashes with it to the point where I'm surprised they didn't show the actual gore because, we see later scenes where they have gore.
Here's a little bit of trivia for you guys. Like, in the production of Holy Grail, it was supposed to be the Holy Grail was co-directed by Terry Jones, also from Monty Python, and Terry Gilliam. And one of the common things with Terry Jones and Terry Gilliam is that they constantly came to heads a bit because Terry, being the visual guy, obviously worried a lot about the cinematography and the overall look of stuff, whereas Terry was, of course, the more focused on the script and comedic part of it. So,
Wait, which Terry?
Terry Jones.
Yeah, remember they're both of their first names are Terry, so
Okay, Jones was the one more concerned with the comedic timing and all that shit, whereas Gilliam was more concerned with the visual because, well, he's a visual guy, he's an animator, obviously.
wow, that explains a lot with this.
It's like one of the great things is that see, Terry Gilliam is at its core is a comedic writer and an animator. The problem is that whenever he steps outside of that comfort zone, he fails.
Which is, again, this goes back to my point with this movie. This movie feels like, if it just focused on being, the witty and comedy, while dark film that it's been in honestly, most of the films compared to the completely dark scenes, it wouldn't have been amazing, but it would have been much better than what we actually do get. Whereas with this film, though, again, we have slightly comedic scenes, but then there's
Just to add to my earlier argument to what Theo said earlier, though, Dweb, since you're from over there, why don't you talk to us about Faulty Towers?
Unfortunately, I can't say I've seen the whole Towers.
It's a
What's
shame.
Faulty Towers?
Basically, it's a
It's a
British.
sitcom.
Yeah, it's a British. It's one of the best British sitcoms of all time, and John Cleese was in it.
He co-created and wrote it apparently as well.
It was great, though.
By the way, in case you're wondering, because we didn't mention, this movie is having a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Gee, I wonder why.
There's no such thing as fairy tales, Jake, even though we kind of just saw a horse eat a girl.
You know what's interesting?
It's not giving
You know what's interesting, Jova? In the same year that this movie came out, Brokeback Mountain also came out. So at the very least, Tang Lee was there to make sure people realized that you could make some good out of this actor, Heath Ledger. I mean,
So was Ang Lee redeeming himself after Hulk?
oh yeah, that's kind of a similar thing. Yeah, like outside of Hulk 2003, Ang Lee is a great filmmaker. Life of Pi in particular is.
It was the worst miscasting possible, but we already discussed about that.
Watch Life of Pi. Life of Pi is great.
I mean, we've never really seen them write any fairy tales.
Who? The Brothers Grimm?
Yeah.
No,
That's what this film.
That's exactly
That's what this film is setting up to. This is an origin
story.
story.
The problem is that the origin story is nowhere near as interesting as the actual as their actual career. That's the big problem right there.
I mean, let's be quite honest. What's the actual biography of the Brothers Grimm, Theo? Yeah. I mean, again, look, see, now in movies like Saving Mr. Banks or Finding Neverland, movies about the creators of a story, those kind of lend themselves to more whimsy and, actual stuff. Trying to do a story about the origins of the Brothers Grimm is, well, okay. Let's just say the Brothers Grimm did not have a happy childhood, happy life, happy anything, really.
No.
Now, I can see what they're trying to do here. They're making Will be scared because, he's supposed to be the skeptic of the two, whereas Jacob is supposed to represent the whimsy, the optimism, the optimistic side of the fairy tales and whatnot. An interesting trait. Turns out Will just wants to protect his brother, though, especially after what happened to their sister.
Oh, nice. I just wish they all would die so this thing would be over.
That's what the bubonic plague was for, Pedro, but they missed it by a few centuries.
Look at that. There you go. This looks like a Holy Grail set.
Yeah.
But this was 2000. But that kind of set would have been. That was like the 70s. This was 2000.
By the time, as a little bit thingy, you're probably wondering too, why doesn't Black of Brian have the classic Terry Gilliam cartoons like Holy Grail did? That's because by the time they came to make Life of Brian, Terry Gilliam, once again, Terry Jones and Terry Gilliam were arguing about who was going to direct the movie, and eventually they came to a compromise where Terry Jones would direct and Gilliam would do the art direction, which is, well, that's his element, and since he didn't have any actual directorial role, he was just handling the actual visuals, and he didn't have any say on whether or not there would be cartoons. And I'm guessing Terry Jones didn't want any cartoons in this one.
Huh. Anyway, they want to get into the tower by using a catapult, I guess.
I wish I was watching Laugh Up Brian.
I'll admit, I'm surprised finding
Me
out
too.
Gilliam did not direct the Pirates of the Caribbean films, because this duel here is kind of like the Regriti and Pinto, only not as funny.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, was somebody involved with the Pirates of the Caribbean also involved with this movie too? And that's why there's similarities? Oh yeah, basically, as has been established, the Queen is messing with the forest and kind of moving the trees all around.
Yeah.
At least that's what Jacob thinks. We still don't
Gee, I
know if it's
wonder
really
what that could
her.
remind me of.
What?
Wee splatter.
He
Yeah,
survived.
that
Oh
could
no, he's dead!
Yeah, he's totally dead.
Nah, it's just a dummy. Even though he yelled like he was flying through the air and it looked like him, it was just a dummy. Fake out.
He was just pretending.
They're testing.
Merely pretending. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh, we totally need this.
Totally.
You idiot!
Brothers Grimm, everyone. People arguing with each other and creepy shit out of nowhere.
Yeah, let's look at what actually happened with the Brothers Grimm. Let's see. Born in the town of Hanau in Hesse-Kassel, now Germany, spent most of their childhood in a nearby town, blah, 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 blah. Their father's death in 1796 impoverished the family and affected the brothers for many years after. They attended the University of Marburg, where they began a lifelong dedication in researching the early history of German language and literature, including German folk tales.
Yeah.
I don't know, acting normally.
I want you to close your eyes and just think about just think. In 2 years' time, you'll be at the premiere of the third Jason Bourne movie.
Good
Yeah.
for him.
So what do? Oh jeez.
A grappling hook.
We're getting all series of unfortunate events on this thing now.
Yeah, totally. Bye.
I get
Right,
the feeling
got
those
it.
two are just getting the heck out of Dodge.
That's understatement. Oh boy, we're about to get this.
How goody this bit.
Like it's not as terrifying as the spider horse.
It depends on your preference.
No,
This
I
makes
think
your-
I think this is more terrifying than the spider horse.
I mean, look. I get that some original fairy tales were dark, but believe it or not, they were not this dark. Like, I mean, yes. Even in the original Cinderella, which had the sisters chopping off parts of their feet, the original fairy tales were not nearly this dark. I mean, the closest you get is Sleeping Beauty, where everyone but Sleeping Beauty died and she gets raped by the prince, who ends up implanting in her a child, and in some
He said
cases,
sorry.
the wife of the prince tries to eat and
Ugh.
murder her.
That's a
What?
dead crow.
Don't
Yeah.
touch the but.
That's. Oh god.
I wish it just ended there.
I wish to.
So, yeah, the interesting history of the Brothers Grimm. That sure is not mentioned here. I mean, okay, I get it. It's
Oh
a fictional.
boy.
Why?
Why?
Oh,
That must
I'm starting to wonder if maybe this is Gilliam taking his artistic values to a whole new level.
Ladies and gentlemen, this movie's interpretation of the Gingerbread Man. Because that's how I think about the gingerbread man. A pile of mud that steals your face.
And gets pretty creepy.
And has pretty bad CGI.
Oh, good. It took her mouth, too.
It's like, why?
Because
You fucked up my face. Anyone wants to do anything?
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me because I look like shit.
I'm Terry Gilliam.
Seriously, look at that thing.
that.
Is this
That's
appealing?
not
in-
gonna stop it.
This
Well, the thing is,
this
Dwebs.
film cost nearly $100 million.
Well, the thing is, Dwebs, Terry Gilliam's cartoons obviously look cheap, so even so that was kind of his shtick, you know, making the cartoons look crude on purpose for the sake of kind of like what South Park does nowadays, basically. The problem is that you can't do that with CGI because crappy 2D animation, despite still technically being crappy, still has a bit of charm to it, if that makes any sense. In the sense that you can still look at it and not be horrified. Whereas incredibly cheap 3D animation, well, food fight. Yeah.
Although, granted, don't we have the production designer to blame on that?
Well, the thing is, Jova, as Code Films the one in his review of Mulan 2, animation is an art form that is incredibly dependent on budget to look good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well,
don't get me wrong.
okay,
The production manager, don't get me wrong. The art director and production manager obviously has a role in it, but without the proper budget, there's nothing you can do really.
Okay, I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't think that this CGI is, crappy in the sense that it's not what they wanted to go for. I think it's the opposite. I think that they actually did want it to look like this because it's freaky as all heck.
So now
I mean,
what?
But it looks like it was made in 1995, not 2005.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like
But
that's what it
whimsy,
seems
look at
intended
the
to look like.
whimsy,
Oh,
which is
God.
totally unearned.
Now, when it comes to the creepy CGI stuff, I'm definitely believing that that's how they intended it to look like.
What about the non-creepy CGI then?
Yeah, product of its time.
No. I've seen better looking films that were cheaper than this in 2004.
I mean, granted, it depends on how hard you are on CGI. Like, you're a lot harder on CGI than most of us. I'm not going to say that it's even really that good looking. I'm just saying it's definitely going to depend. I mean, for me, I consider it a product of its time.
I retract my joke because I thought we were talking about special effects in general, not just CGI.
Now, it turns out that there's a number of, 13 crypts surrounding the tower. An interesting number, but one of significance. Not so it's actually inside the tower.
Inside the tower.
Hello? Matrix, did you leave behind any of your actors or actresses?
Apparently so.
Oh man, no treasure or anything in here.
All we get is a bunch of web and
Ravens.
Oh, a crown.
Geez, these.
But I don't think the crown's going to be of much worth.
Maybe if we dust, polish it off.
Nah.
Pretty big throne.
For you. Nah, that's not worth it.
I wonder if Venom will end up saying that.
Ugh, God.
And yes, Teal, there's already someone who's made a meme of that.
Of course.
I will
Possibly.
crash this movie with no survivors. But hey, at least they're bringing in, the 4 symbiotes from that arc, including Scream, Lash, and I forget the other two's
Agony
name.
and Phage.
Yeah. What do we have here?
Oh, I was looking for 13 because that's the number.
Is this your jump scare? Here you go. So yeah, basically earlier Angelica told them that the frogs always do know the way back to the village because, you know, you can fool the human eye, but you can't fool nature.
Sure.
Give a frog a kiss and it'll show you the way. Because, get it? Princess kissing a frog.
Yeah. Ugh, that's just...
Hello. Come on.
It's not even one of those frogs when you lick and you get high.
Oh, hey, Sasha. Somehow we're well led to here.
And he's now in his human form instead of a gingerbread man form.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Guess the water dissolved all the whatever that gingerbread man was made of.
Oh, and the wolf is here too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's gonna stop it.
Well, uh-oh, it turns out the wolf is
A werewolf.
who's also
Ow.
the woodsman.
Oh, jeez.
That looks like the costume looks like something you'd see in a pantomime.
Yeah, or a theater play.
Oh, God, this feels so much like a Monty Python film without the joy.
Or the
abundance.
actual talent.
Well, okay. The abundance of joy, anyway.
Even the costumes of this film look cheap.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
agree with Reeves.
Yeah, that I will agree with. Again, a major issue with this film is like, well, it feels like, we'll try, but not really. Like, seriously. I mean, okay, regardless of how violent or whatnot you have to be, have some whimsy in it. Again, even the old versions had some sense of magic, wonder, and whimsy for as dark as they could be.
Mm-hmm.
Also, why does Heath Ledger kind of
Wow,
remind me a little bit?
hey, there's Monica Bellucci in the flesh.
The look of Heath
Mostly.
Ledger, the look of Heath Ledger in this film reminds me of Tom Hardy for some reason.
I guess all Brits look alike. I don't know.
I thought Heath Ledger was American.
Oh, Heath Ledger. Oh, wait, Heath Ledger is American? I thought
Yes.
he was British.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's American,
Oh, okay.
as is Matt Damon.
I guess it's just one of those things where Nolan gets so many British actors currently that I end up mixing them together.
Thinking that all of them are. Oh, there's
Actually,
Huh.
Actually-
Oh,
then-
get it, Crystal Shoes.
Yeah.
Actually,
Kill me. And the prick on the finger. It's like, let's toss in everything.
Heath Ledger was Australian.
Oh, there you go then.
Oh, right, he is Australian. Forgot about that.
So okay, so he kind of is British, like House said in Doctor House. Who put the queen in your coin? You're British. There you go.
Australian.
So
Who
basically,
put the money? Who put the queen in your money? You're British.
apparently, these bugs are from the bubonic plague, back when the Phrygian queen sealed herself up. Apparently, though, despite her ever attempts to keep herself looking good,
That background looks horrible, and
And she... Finally, at 1 hour and 17 minutes, she decides to finally shows up.
an Italian playing a Phrygian.
ugh.
Sure, why not?
It's a magic mirror, by the way, which reflects and hopes
Just-
of beauty. And
I mean,
Just
if Christopher Lee can play
Monica
Russian,
after
why
this,
not?
yeah, needless to say, the queen's really feeling horny since nobody really wants to,
That
nobody.
there must be rust.
Let me put it like this: no one's really into the queen
Oh,
these
shit.
days. Whenever they see her,
Hey, Kratos is in this movie. I didn't know.
Boy.
Boy.
As for Monica, don't worry, Theo. She ran away, and now she's hiding over here.
she's got some pretty long nails too.
You stole my pizza when you stole my actress.
Hey, we didn't steal your pizza. We just made better ones.
Ouch. Well, here's some Bellucci fan service to you, Tio.
Well,
as well as some.
I'll take anything I can.
Although, just be wary of the dis fan service over there because that's not how she really looks right now, needless to say.
Yeah.
Well, Terry, if it makes you feel any better, we also took one of Jova's actresses, so there's that.
Which one?
Scarlett Johansson.
Just
Uh-oh.
shit.
When part of the mirror breaks, part of the tower breaks.
Basically, Jova, there's a... Oh, sorry, go
Wait,
ahead.
you bedwetting piss bucket.
Sure, why not? Basically, Jova, there's a neighborhood in Lisbon that is quite the tourist attraction for a lot of world celeb. Sorry, go ahead.
That's like the equivalent of sobering up after you
I
see.
don't want to put my penis in that, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Ma. Don't worry though. We'll use her hair or soften.
I wish I was watching Tangled.
That looked like it hurt.
Movie or series, I don't care.
That really, I wonder. You know what? Nah, not gonna ask about it. But yeah, basically, he used her ever long hair. Okay, that line was funny. She's still around? Well, the years haven't been kind to her, Will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about Bellucci?
What?
But
She's Italian, and yet she did a couple of French dubs for animated films.
Yeah, she can do. Yeah, she can do a pretty good French accent, I'll admit.
Well, not accent, language.
basically the axle controls, repels more like the trees because it's a symbol that you're part of the Queen's, domain. Yeah. Ah, jeez.
I wish I was
So
playing
Monica
Detroit.
Bellucci is essentially now Emperor Palpatine after Mace Windu did whatever that screwed up his face.
I really wish I was playing Detroit Become Human. At least that game's more enjoyable than this.
Oh yeah, that game's out today.
Yes, and I already have it. The main menu is quite interesting. I'll just say that.
Jesus.
Just to finish what I was saying. Well, basically, Joe, but there's a neighborhood here in Lisbon where it's known for a lot of celebrities like into tours here, to the point where some of them will even actually buy their actual summer houses here. Like now we have John Malkovich, Monica Bellucci again, and Scarlett Johansson is the most recent one.
And you say Portugal doesn't get any recognition.
Well, it's one of those things, Joe. But that's exactly because of that they go there, because they know that they'll have more peace and quiet there.
Those Scarred will have to come back eventually for Avengers 4.
Well, obviously, but while she's on vacation, she can enjoy it, I guess.
So yeah, bad news to the pop. Well, bad news. We got your daughter back, but she's a bit comatose. But hey, the good news is that the slippers on her are worth a fortune. So basically, the Phrygian Queen has been stealing little girls to get their youth by basically having their fingers pricked for blood and giving it to her.
Sure, why the fuck not?
Panic!
So basically, he's telling them all to
Move.
get the children away.
Unfortunately, timing be damned.
Time for the Illuminists.
Yeah, like Tia mentioned earlier, while Napoleon Bonaparte did not support mystical things, if he did believe in any, he wanted them destroyed. And now the French are gonna take matters into their own hands.
Which, to be fair, they could have done this from the very beginning, since we're about to see what their plan is.
Basically, they wanted it to be dealt with diplomatically at first, because German swine deal with German swine. Hey, just like in a Monty Python skit, we have British-sounding characters going up against the French.
Without the fun. Also, why do they have cow bags?
Cow bags.
Oh, you're still here.
But it turns out he's had to change heart because now he sees that the stuff is real and he's actually kind of warmed up to the
he said here's come on. Yeah. Fuck are you doing in your life?
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, thank you.
Ow.
Uh-oh. Turns turns out their two companions kind of turned tail and ran after the gingerbread incident, but got caught by the French.
Oops.
Run away.
Oh.
What?
So now we kind of have a liar reveal situation too. Fantastic. I totally needed this. Oh, and they killed Volta too as well. That's charming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm in the mood.
Subtle. Kinda subtle if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know what's just come to my mind just now?
So, now the French have an idea. Let's burn down the forest. That'll get
Yeah,
rid of the
they should have
heathen.
done this from
Yeah,
the
that'll,
very beginning, honestly.
Yeah, that won't cause it, but that won't cause any issues. What if you need wood?
To them, it's just one German forest that they think is too much trouble for its own good. And with it, they're going to burn the Grimms.
Can I watch Moana instead?
I just wish I was watching Lord of the Rings with Saruman actually destroying the penguin. Also, haha, so ironic.
The book.
Fucking movie. Again, it's like a
they-
pen rubbing all over your face.
Well,
You know,
the version. By that, do you mean the version of all the rings where Saruman's character actually gets what's coming to him?
No, I mean Two Towers, Dweebs. Remember,
know,
at the beginning, one of the
movie-
deleted scene of Two Towers is him ordering to burn the Forest of Fangorn.
You know, movie, when one of the best developed characters in your movie is the hilarious Italian, nothing against
Sorry,
Italians.
Jova. No, Jova. Sorry, I have no enjoyment with that character.
Well, what I mean is, like, well, he's one of the better developed characters in this movie, and that's a sad thing. I mean, because he's supposed to be more the comedy guy, if anything. Yet
You may
he's the one
fire
who,
when ready.
yet he's the one who actually gets the most development. Like, you know, like, well, he actually does go for the motions. He's skeptical at
Also,
first. He actually
I'm
does have a
sorry.
legit reason to trust them, and they actually have helped him, so it makes sense he trusts them now.
Why would you waste cannonballs for starting fires?
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's okay, Teo.
Where's-
We can ask Gohan and Krillin to put out the fire. I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, how are we gonna put out the fire?
Let's
That's
just
something
use them as
interesting.
chosen.
Yeah. Whereas, okay, now about development, I've just gone on the Italian characters' development. Now, what about the Grimms themselves, though? Let's be quite honest. And most of their development has been brothers who quarrel and fight. And like, well,
Both of them are unlikable, Jova.
yeah, I mean, Jacob is an idiot, and Will is just the opposite extreme. But now they're finally working together after a fist fight, and boom, now they're the heroes now. It's like I say, the Italian character, whose name I can't even remember, is a more developed character than them.
All right, I'm going to.
Well, okay, to admit,
God,
Jonathan Price is doing the best
take a
of what he
break.
can.
Okay, I'm gonna because my copy of Detroit came with the art book, so I haven't checked it yet. Let me see what this thing is in it.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, it's the big bad wolf.
Again. Ah.
This is
So-
that is the thing. When this movie's not being disgusting, it's just
But
boring.
guys, wait, it's time for a plot twist to come.
Totally not saw it.
Yeah, even though you know he was humming the same lullaby as her, even though he was also a woodsman like her father was, shock guys, the woodsman was actually
Well, more like
Price.
her father.
Dun
No.
dun dun.
But why though?
Let's listen.
Oh, there you go.
So, of
Died
course,
in
like
a
in,
snowstorm. It's like
Just
that
like
character in between
Beauty and
Fire
the
Emblem
Beast.
games.
just like in Beauty and the Beast, her father went away, got caught in the cold, found an enchanted tower, and something bad happened.
Oh, jeez.
However, let's just say, this was not what the help he was looking for. And unfortunately, now there's been a change of plans.
No.
I'm sorry, there's been a
Whoops.
change in plan.
I altered the deal. Pray that I don't do that again.
Oh, yeah, I have there's concept art for Chloe here.
Well cried.
Ring.
And the one ring to rule them all decides. Yeah, that's what the ring should have done in Lord of the Rings when it fell into the lake. Just cover the whole thing in ice, so it's hard
Hey,
to.
it's like in that scene from Beauty and the Beast Enchanted Christmas. Charming.
Yeah, this art book is... It's okay, because I have another one.
Okay, now how are we gonna put the flames out? Monica Bellucci's gonna do that.
But,
And she will huff, and she'll puff, and she'll blow your fires away.
yeah.
Jeez. I didn't know Monica Bellucci was Superwoman, Tio.
Also, halitosis is much.
Why did you even get Monica Bellucci for a role where she's mostly not even actually on screen as herself anyway?
Yeah,
Again, she's pretty much Emperor Palpatine facially when she's like
That's like if someone made a movie where they hire Eddie Murphy to play a mute character. Oh wait.
Oh, wait.
I mean, heck, even in 1,000 Words, at least he got to, do some of his comedic verbal humor before the stupid gimmick came in play. Here, Monica Bellucci plays an old, decrepit queen, and I get it, her actually looking younger, that probably is good,
French.
Come on, we're
because the
friends!
French run.
Even when they're the
I
ones
want
calling
this
the
movie to be
shots.
so over, and it's like half an hour left. Oh my god.
Alright, let's see.
So
Wow.
basically, he's executing the soldiers for not following his
It means miracle.
and desertion.
Fortunately, I got myself the Nino Kuni 2 art book, so I'll be reading this. Thank you. You
All
guys
right,
keep
Paige,
going.
time to get
Also,
your head back
even
in the
a
game.
ray of
We've got the
light?
climax coming up.
Why the ray of light, though?
Because it shows hope.
That's
Ironic.
whatever.
Alright,
Also, I
let's
don't even
go.
know. Who
Oh,
was the composer for these dweebs? I forgot.
Dario Marianelli.
So, yeah.
What else did he did? Forgot.
He did the score for Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh,
well, shit, I like that score.
those are good.
I mean, I will admit the composition for this movie is not bad. In fact, if anything, it's one of the few consistently good things.
Also Paddington too, huh?
So yeah, basically, since the Grimms managed to rescue Sasha before it was too late, and before basically the Blood Moon, yeah, that's right, they got to get this done right as soon as the Blood Moon, aka the lunar eclipse, sets in.
But that means that all enemies will regenerate because of that.
He also did the score for Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
So basically, instead, Angelica will be the 13th.
Yes, that as long as it works, I guess.
And Angelica from Rugrats.
No, it's
Yes.
Angelica from the animated Titanic movie.
Oh,
Basically, Angelica
which
spelled with a K.
which one?
The legend goes on.
Is that the one with the rapping dog?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's two ways I can refer to it: either the one with the rapping dog, or the one with the whales.
Well, that's what they're mostly known
Oops.
for.
What the fuck are you doing?
That didn't work. Back, nature, back! Stay back from whence you came in Snow White!
I tell you.
I command you, stay away.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you are.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
He probably doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't believe him.
Nothing
Any last
personal.
requests?
Uh... Thanks, movie.
Well,
I totally needed this again.
Great.
yeah. Well, hey, he resigned, so
Resignation
Dweebs,
accepted.
that's how you would react, and not an actual character in a movie.
I don't know, Theo. I mean, the Joker would totally do that.
I mean, could you imagine how that would go, Jover, if you and I were in a finger? Unfortunately, Jover, I have to resign my commission.
Resignation accepted. Pedro, please clean up the mess.
Oh, sure.
Hell, there's a panel comedy show around here called
Oh, it
Mock the
actually
Week.
worked.
Called Mock the Week that did that joke.
Oh, haha, guard, parry,
Kelly
dodge,
is
thrust,
fighting you with a
spin.
French flag. Also, that soldier actually spoke. Huh.
A soldier
Yeah, well,
has died.
That's actually not a soldier, that's a footman who, I guess he's having to be a soldier. Huh, so the footman is more courageous than the actual soldiers.
How nice.
There we go. Amber X rank. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Jonathan Price, is this the one where you go, what the heck am I even doing here?
Probably.
Boy, that's some pretty strong hair, but dang it, those crows! Boy, how thick is Monica
It's
Bellucci's hair, I
behind you.
wonder?
It's behind you. There you go. Why are you even toying with him? Just kill him already.
Ah, that line. You killed my friends. I didn't wish you had more. He's cruel.
Totally.
Gee, how would I know? How else would I know he's a bad guy?
No, he's not just
Oh
a
god,
bad guy,
that's
dude.
terrible CGI. This climax feels so uninteresting, to say the least.
Yeah.
Blood Moon. Great.
And now
There
he's
you go.
blind. Or is he?
No.
That face. Fuck you. Movie, you haven't earned this in this life.
No. Quiche's disgusting.
Yeah.
That seems unnecessary, but alright then.
Adieu.
Ah. Jesus, man. Sorry, Pedro, we can't even have that.
I wish I was watching. Oh God, what was it called? I'm forgetting.
Wow.
I'm forgetting it now.
Well, I'll say this though, Monica Bellucci can do a good old voice, old person voice.
Yep.
I guess.
And apparently she is one with the Force, it seems.
Magnetic field.
Dang, she
Ow.
really does have some strong hair if it can be used like that.
Oh, turns out the town character is still alive.
Yep.
But why though? How could it have actually? What could have actually saved him?
How
My
could
God.
The
this
armor.
be?
Yeah.
See, that armor may be phony against mystical forces, but it is still
Back
bulletproof.
to the Future 3 did this better.
Oh, they're clicking their shoes together. That's...
Like Wizard of Oz, I guess.
I don't recall the Brothers Grimm involved with
No.
Wizard of Oz.
Not at all. Jesus.
Well, not the knife. Well,
Eek!
Unlike Ghost and Goblins, so you don't have to use the knife.
Well, crud, that thing that we always pretended is actually real now.
What even is going on?
She's controlling them and trying to get them to stab each other.
Oh, that's...
Oh, I'm sure Napoleon Bonaparte will love the competition.
I don't even know
lady.
where it's going on at this point. This movie's trying to do way too many things.
I have wonderful news for you, Pedro.
This
The movie's
is the-
almost over.
This is the part where Monica Bellucci goes freaking insane.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going with Reeves on this. The CGI on that effect is god awful. Look at this. God damn it.
Ugh. Just wait for a
Almost
few more
as sweet.
CGI frames, honey. Then you'll be beautiful again.
There you go. Ha, ha,
White?
ha. No.
Matt Damon! I mean, Will!
No, Matt Damon is dead.
But wait, I thought he was unkillable. If Jason Bourne's anything to go by.
Pulling that thing away is not the best thing. Hmm. Can you not?
Seriously, Bellucci, we're kind of busy here right now.
No, not just that. She's doing the. She's supposed to make hepatitis. She's describing the scene. Also, why is the woodsman doing nothing?
Because she's controlling him through the mirror that she stabbed into him. David, no! Don't give in!
I know she's Monica Bellucci, but come on.
But in reality, what is actually going on? She's having him crawl to her.
At least the Good Times movies were fun to make fun of.
And they were shorter.
You're just salty because he gave you a haircut, aren't you, Rapunzel?
What was that phrase that Catriel says, Pedro?
The truth is always stranger than fiction.
Yeah, I could use that.
You know, I thought her line would have been, "My dad abandoned me, the deadbeat bastard."
Oh.
Not to spoil
Right.
anything for Teo, but come on, Webbs, you know, let's just not. Let's
We
just
know,
not.
we know.
Let's not pretend we don't know what's something that goes on.
Granted,
Oh.
I have no idea what the heck's going on. I'm just waiting for the next game. But
Well, yeah,
anyway,
well, yeah, of course, obviously, but
so basically, the queen took out the thing that she was using to control the woodsman because she wants some younger blood.
Of course.
Because, you know, she wants an heir.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Yeah, we know.
Hey, look at the bright side. At least they're not saying that Kristen Stewart is prettier than her.
Eisenberger?
So
That's-
breaking the mirror means that the curse.
Oh god.
Apparently
That's
that
7 years
that's
of
her
bad
magic.
luck.
you got Monica Bellucci for this.
Yeah,
Guess this
that's,
is where she joins the league.
terrible CGI.
And now that Angelica's father's now free of the curse,
the
he
movie's
realizes
budget,
that she kind of killed her.
the movie's special
the
effects
big-
are literally falling apart.
Ah,
So now the woodsman's going to take matters into his own hands, and now that he's going to get the mirror smashed.
settle in smash.
Sure, why not?
And that is the representation of Monica Bellucci's career at this point.
Dang.
Sadly.
So, okay, so the movie's a bit unclear. Is the woodsman alive? Is the woodsman dead? I mean, kind of unclear.
Why do you care now?
Because he now is friends with them because, you know, he had a heel face turn, had that old character arc. Again, he had more of a character arc than the main heroes did. That's how bad this film is. About the Demon Queen, but she's, you know what, never mind, no let it out this moment. Did Italians have something against witches or something?
I don't want to comment on this.
That was more so French. Remember as Notre Dame de Paris chronicled. And
To be fair, the Inquisition was a mandate from the Pope, so starting from Rome.
all right, never mind. It all goes back to the Vatican, of course.
Always. Lives, can you feel the excitement of the climax of this movie?
Yeah, that's the thing. This climax kind of just peters out. Like, you know, as soon as the woodsman is free of the curse, and after, you know, Jacob shatters the mirror, boom, that's it, she's done.
That's...
Like, you went to all this trouble to get your youth back after you somehow survived the bubonic plague and have eternal life, only to just kind of peter out because you kind of didn't think to have security measures for what might happen in these circumstances.
Brilliant.
Like, you know, give the Evil Queen in the Snow White Disney film credit. At the very least, she wasn't expecting the dwarves to be able to fight back.
Not just that, at the very least the queen had an intimidating presence to her.
Yeah. He's trapped under a mattress, I think.
But to make...
Wow.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm almost surprised they didn't do a Princess and the Pea joke with that.
But to make doubly sure you do not fail, bring back her heart in this.
Sarah instantaneously believes that.
So, yeah, I know that Will's down, but we also can remember the fact that Angelica's father is also there, now broken out of the Queen's control, too.
Sure, why not?
Again, it reminds me of that scene in the Langoliers where they're taking off and the Langoliers are eating Blossom Peach and then they're pointing out, by the way, there's a black guy if you want to eat him too.
I mean, the movie went to all these lengths to foreshadow the whole Angelica's father is working for the Queen thing, and now
boy, this. The movie will attempt again comedy, just badly.
The true love's first kiss.
Of course.
Oh, true love's kiss.
Also, I can tell you that Italians did not invent that, so I don't know where this is coming from.
Invent what?
The idea of a true kiss of love, the waking up.
Oh!
Well,
wasn't that.
Wasn't that like just classic fairy tale stuff?
Well, that's the thing. Cavaldi says that it's something that he heard when he was a child, so...
Yeah, I guess we can assume that some Italians told fairy tales. I mean, you guys did invent a few, including Pinocchio.
That's the thing, Joe. Most of fairy tales were invented first by Aesop in Greece, then by La Fontaine in France, and then by the Grimms. Well, more invented than officialized.
Then I guess we can just assume that Cavaldi's mother read one of those stories or something.
I suppose.
But, oh no, maybe it doesn't.
You just didn't love her enough, don't you know?
Let me guess, True Love's first kiss is from... never mind.
I feel like I've been brought back by a lazy rider's way.
I was going to say Matt Damon for a second.
No, that's Heath Ledger. Oh, maybe this is the Joker's wife.
No, I thought it would do the whole... no, it's not Heath Ledger that's True Love's first kiss is Savior, it's Matt Damon.
And somehow that wakes up all the other little girls too, including Angelica's two little...
this to pay, yay!
And hey, it's even got Angelica reuniting with her two sisters. Again, what about her father?
The jig's up, man. So before we did the traditional Disney way, now we need to do the modern Disney way.
Yeah.
Funny.
Why Maleficent would later do this?
Didn't Frozen do this as well?
Yeah, Frozen. Did Elsa
You
kiss her
could
sister?
say he was the pioneer of that.
I don't recall. Did Elsa kiss her sister though?
No.
No. She
Jova,
didn't
that's
kiss her.
reserved for the internet because, as you know, the internet wants to ruin everything.
But Tio, that's what Maleficent did. Where Maleficent of all people
Let's
was the
just
one who
preserve
gives the
that.
royal
Well, the
kiss.
fa- well, the-
Let's
well, the thing-
enjoy the happy ending.
Well, the thing is with Frozen, it was meant to be a direct subversion of the true love's kiss thing, whereas it made you expect to be a prince.
And look, guys, Sasha's back alive too.
I get what you mean. Just end the movie.
We're free
free from this movie.
Ooh, I'm gonna try and wipe any existence I was involved in this movie. It did.
That's Jewish polka. Why?
Well, remember, Tio, quite a few Germans were Jewish.
Well, yeah, obviously. So I may even say the book. There you are.
So now they'll go on to be writers, because that's what this kind of ordeal would inspire you to be.
2 hours of nonsensical boredom and disgustingness for this.
Yeah, and Jacob tells the other, "Hey, we'll always be together and still write stories, right?" And the other, "Yes. What could possibly go wrong?"
So, which one is she falling in love with?
Both, I guess. 3 songs for the win. Too bad also their assistant also died.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Also, where are the artillery that the French clearly used?
They took a move from I guess when they ran. Oh look, there's some armor though.
Yeah, see guys, this is the real world. The magic really exists.
And thus they will write. And I guess the writing will be the profession from now on.
Yeah.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Happily ever after. Fuck you.
Wait for it. Well, maybe not.
Finally.
Oh, God dang it.
There's no post-credit scene, so let's just go. This movie is terrible. Like, it aged. Even if it maybe, I guess at the time it may have been more presentable, but even in that case, it did not age at all. Well,
Yeah.
it's disgusting, it's mean-spirited, it's completely trivial, and it's a complete waste of talent of the people involved with it. Skip it.
agree.
It's not even funny to come to watch it with friends if you need my opinion on that. Next.
No, not really.
It's garbage. The end. And well, I'll elaborate a little bit. I mean, seriously,
Not even like
it's like
Bellucci could save it.
everything that could go wrong with this film did. You had the studio interference. You had the director being so wound up he treated some of the cast like shit. You had it looks, and on top of that, what we've just mentioned earlier, this film's boring.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
And it's
freaking
not
me out
being-
with god awful CGI.
I
Yeah.
had to read art books to keep myself awake.
Art books of what's
Detroit Become Human and Ni no Kuni 2, because
well, you have to rely on David Cage to keep yourself awake.
Hey, Dreams, say what you will, but at least David is entertaining.
yeah.
Mostly.
Most of the time. But certainly better than this movie, I can tell you that. But
Yeah.
anyway, continue.
Overall, it sucks.
Okay, Pedro, I guess you want to keep it short, and
What Dwip said, the end.
Drova.
Okay, I'm going to start off by reading off what Wikipedia has to say about the visual effects of the film. You
Sure.
see, post-production was severely delayed when Gilliam disagreed with the Weinsteins over the final cut privilege. Basically, the
Check
final
your-
cut privilege is
Check
basically...
your final cut privilege.
It's basically the right of a director to decide how a movie is ultimately released for public viewing. So basically, the post-production was severely delayed because of the disagreements over that. The conflict lasted so long that Gilliam had enough time to shoot another feature film, Tideland. To create the visual effects, Gilliam awarded the shots to Peerless Camera, the London-based effects studio he founded in the late 1970s with visual effects supervisor Kent Houston. There you go, the culprit. However, 2 months in filming, Houston said that Peerless ran into a number of major issues with the Brothers Grimm and the Weinstein brothers. He continued that the main problem was the fact that the number of effect shots had dramatically increased, meaning because of issues that arose during shooting with the physical effects. Meanwhile, the Queen's Chamber inside the tower was actually built by the art department as 2 sets. One set was resplendent and new, while the other was old and decrepit. The sets were joined to each other by the central mirror, blah, 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 blah. Basically, there were originally to be about 500 effect shots, but they increased to 800. The post-production conflict between Gilliam and the Weinsteins also gave enough time for Peerless to work on another film, The Legend of Zorro. 4 different creatures were required for computer animation. And here are the 4 creatures: a wolf man, a mud creature, the mirror queen, and a living tree. Apparently the horse was not computer animated. Go figure.
Yeah, how it's said about how Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a more entertaining film than this.
Basically, the horse was actually not computer animated.
Then how?
That was them trying to be practical effects. Go figure.
Did they just inflated a horse?
They must have inflated a horse stuff model. Oh god. Well, there you go, Clips. The forcing wasn't CGI.
It was a crap.
That's
practical
disgusting.
effect.
Yeah. In fact, it goes to the criticism. Roger Ebert himself said that the film is an invention without pattern, chasing itself around the screen without finding a plot. The movie seems like a style in search of purpose, with a story we might not care about. And the general consensus is that the majority of critics believe that Gilliam sacrificed the storyline in favor of the visual design. Because, this is definitely a movie that's
Gilliam,
trying to
yes.
grab you in with its looks, as opposed to its plot.
That's Gilliam, alright, yeah.
I mean, whether or not this was his idea or whatnot, I'm starting to actually believe he might have had something to do with it. Oh, yeah, a Monty Python-esque dark comedy. Funny.
I just have to job. Again, I checked briefly. Apparently, the TV tropes pages of this movie are kind of BS, but whatever. It's almost over. Let me just add one final thing that I forgot. The character of Cavaldi. Seriously, man. I know stereotypes and all, but there's better ways.
He's sadly one of the better characters, even with that in mind.
I don't even want to imagine what Robin Williams would have done with it, because I think I mentioned a couple of times, it's nothing particularly personal, but I never truly enjoyed Robin Williams as much as other people did. It's not a thing like I hate the actor or anything, but just didn't enjoy it fully as other people did. So him in this role, I don't even want to imagine what it would.
What was that film? What was that? Was it good? Was that film with Robin Williams and he didn't like? Was it Good Morning Vietnam or?
No, Dead Poets Society.
Okay.
Fun fact, actually, the Brothers Grimm was shown at the 62nd Venice International Film Festival on the 4th of September 2005, and it was in competition for the Golden Lion. I guess that's an award there.
It's a Venice film festival.
But it lost to another Heath Ledger film, Brokeback Mountain.
Thank God, at least they had more common sense there.
Alright, so my actual thoughts about this movie. When I first saw this movie, I liked it, but that was way back then. It's easy to see why the cult following for this movie faded out as time came by, because I guess the main thing grabbing this movie is the fun bits to a viewer. And by the fun bits, I mean the part where the movie, tries to be something that's not dark, gloomy, and gritty. Let me put it like this. There's being faithful to the original Grimm tales that were grimdark, And then there's going above and beyond. Like, this movie is too dark and grim, no pun intended, for its own good. Like, we've got freak out scenes, and it's clear that the parts where this movie is actually trying are in the visuals over the actual dialogue cast. Well, okay, the casting's good, but the actual dialogue, writing, and story are just so joyless. Like, the action scenes themselves aren't that well done. The villain is beat out easily. It's like this movie fools you into thinking it's gonna be action-packed and whimsical and whatnot, but no, it tries to be slow, supposedly, I'm using air quotes, methodical, and even still, it loses a sense of its own plot. Like, again, what happened to the woodsman? Is he dead because he fell the same distance that Will did? I mean, I guess he cushioned Will's fall, but is he dead? Is he alive? I mean, you know, Angelica was all about, oh my god, my dad's alive, but then she doesn't seem to care by the end. And yeah, scenes go by a little too easily. Like, again, there are some scenes that could have worked if they were in a better movie. But overall, the production issues, whatever, the whole concept of the film crashes on above itself in a bout of boredom, unless you're watching one of the more intense scenes, in which case it becomes terrifying. It has, like, one or two funny jokes here and there. But I'm just going to put it like this. You probably are not going to remember this film for its humor, or lack thereof. It's kind of a shame coming back to this film and realizing, God, I actually like this. But hey, it happens, and this film will, while not being forgotten, because it's quite the travesty, will not leave that good a legacy.
I don't know, Jove. I don't really hear anybody talking about this movie nowadays. It's not even one of those infamously bad movies like Last Airbender.
It faded into obscurity, and
maybe it already did fade.
Yeah, well, when it's something like, say, let me think of a really bad movie of the time, like an infamously bad movie.
Legend of Titanic, that'll still go on.
Well, that was mostly that the Nostalgia Critic kind of popularized that of sorts. I'm talking about something like okay, let's go Hulk 2003, because Hulk 2003 is still brought up as a really terrible comic book movie, and it's still, you know, whereas this movie, it's not even a popular movie to review on YouTube or anything like that. It's just this thing just kind of faded into obscurity.
Yeah,
and for good reason.
They apparently had a TV show and a sequel in mind, but when Heath Ledger died, it was like that was the end of any plans. Although the TV show was still supposed to go through, but I have no idea what happened to that.
It just went.
Unless it's suffering through development hell, in which case it may come in the future, albeit a more abominable monster.
Anyway, we've probably dragged these too much already.
Can we please
so
end?
That was Brothers Grimm, everyone. I hope you had fun with it.
People actually enjoyed it, unlike us, so...
Don't watch this film alone if you have friends, because trust me, you'll need the support.
Watch them with your enemies. It's great torture.
Yeah. See ya.
See you for the next one.
See ya.
See ya.